All right. I'd like to call the Monday, December 30th, 2024 meeting of the Tuckerborough Board of Selectmen to order. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First is public input, and we have no public. Next is appointments for the transfer station at 5 o'clock, and we're about 20 minutes early for that.
We have no approval of minutes.
No, we're not doing approval of minutes, no. Next would be the consent calendar. We have in the consent calendar 2 catastrophic leave donations that we need to vote to accept. A veterans exemption, 2 intents to cut, and a quote, a sales quote for the from Lakes Region Computer. Actually, I didn't see that.
That's not in here. It was on the electronic, sent out electronically. It's not in this package. What was the increase on that anyway? Off the top, do you know off the top of your head, roughly? On this,
I know, I'm thinking, if we look at the budget to actual, to see what this month was.
Computer maintenance and support, or lease and supports.
Computer maintenance and support.
Okay, so with this month is $6,000, $6,075.
Okay, that was also some modifications from other, she had to move it from a different group, so half of that. So 3,000 to, I believe, Bob has a quote, I think it's 3,400.
$3,414.86.
that's the new quote.
Yeah.
That's the new monthly
So,
quote. Which is up from what?
It's not too far out, but
about $3,000, and that $3,000 price was steady for 2 years.
So it's up about $400.
And that price is steady for 2 years as well.
so what's
Okay.
that's
10, 12%, 12.5%.
is it? It does even.
We don't have that budget.
13.
Budget committee.
Don't you come up with 13?
13. It's a little steep, but I guess.
Are we gonna look at the financial administration budget again? There it is. No, this is personnel administration.
Right.
So we're up on the financial administration.
Yeah, partly due to computer support.
Right, but that hasn't been looked at from the standpoint of the budget committee.
Correct.
So we're up 9% overall for next year's budget on that line item, or that budget. So, I don't know, $3,400 is like less than 1%. So I don't think that increase is gonna affect what we've approved. We
No,
just
it's
have-
already built into your finance admin budget.
So we just have to remember to mention that.
So we've already built this into our into our budget.
Yes,
Right,
This is just the approval of the contract that we're doing
correct.
tonight.
okay.
Well, if I recall correctly, 2 years ago, this was put out to bid.
Mhm.
And it's always good to put things out like this every few years. But this being just done 2 years ago, how are we with Lakes Region Computer Service? Have they held to the terms of the contract? Any issues?
I'm really impressed. Yeah, from my experience in the past, they are super responsive, no matter what it is. They do a lot of testing. They send out, phishing emails to see how our employees respond to them. When the police had a computer go down, it was maybe a day, 2 days, and it was back up and running. They had a new computer. They had everything transferred over.
Are there any reasons, compelling or not, to seek out another company to see anything, if there's anything better out there?
I don't think in the short term, there aren't a lot of support companies that do it. I had experience with 2 others, and these guys are above and beyond.
Yeah, the fellow from the nursing home came over, I remember that.
Yes. All right, well, I would make a motion to accept the monthly agreement of $3,414.86 for Lakes Region Computer to continue service
I'll second.
for two. This is a 2-year agreement.
Correct.
Okay. Any further discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I'll sign this at the end. Okay, I've read the other items in the consent calendar. 2 catastrophic leave donations, veterans exemption, 2 intents to cut, and Lakes Region computer sales quote. I would entertain a motion to accept the contents
Oh,
of the consent
so,
calendar.
yes, I'll make the motion.
Okay,
I'll second.
moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
The only question I would have, and I want Audrey to keep an eye on it, is whether or not Sentinel Ministries is gonna pay timber tax. Because they claim to be a nonprofit. For whatever religious reason.
Okay.
Either they are or they aren't. Are they not a 501(c)(3)
I think
or
they're,
C3, whatever that is?
yeah, I don't think they do the church thing, which is a little different than the 501. But they've been a nonprofit for a long time. But I think they probably make a profit.
All set, ready to vote?
Yep.
All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Action items. Well, we've had a lot of discussion lately. The only item in the action item calendar is the,
Was there, just before we begin that, because I think that's on the four-way stop,
yes,
was there a intent to cut by New Hampshire Electric Co-op, or is that something different?
no,
That was just a
Notification?
notification, letter from NHEC informing of tree clearing right away.
Okay, so that's in correspondence.
Yep.
yeah, it's in correspondence, and they give us that every year, tell us that they're gonna be cutting stuff down. So, the four-way stop sign, public input. We have a tally. We have 36 residents casting a vote of their preference, and the nays have it, 22 to 14. I know I personally have mixed feelings about this. If having a four-way stop saves one life, then I'm all in favor for it. But on the other hand, I think that putting a four-way stop there at that intersection has the potential to actually cause accidents. That's a stretch of 171 that is well traveled. I see a lot of trucks traveling down that road, and to throw a stop sign in the middle of that road, I think could be disastrous. My personal opinion, and I know it goes against the statistics that the state compiled for us.
Let's not call them statistics, because they refused to do a traffic study.
Okay,
There were no statistics.
okay.
There was,
Historical data?
I suppose it was comparative data,
Okay,
but just as all people are individuals, I think all intersections are individual.
okay. My personal thought is that I think we would be much better served with a blinking red light in the middle of the intersection, strung across wires, blinking red light from Durgan Road to Ledge Hill Road, and blinking yellow light on 171. Doing that, if we ever were to decide to go to a four-way stop there, all they would have to do is change the lenses from amber to red, and that's already done, and to plant a couple of stop signs. But I think this is, my opinion, I don't know how you guys feel, that this is the next best step that we should take, is to make that recommendation or,
Well,
or request.
As Eric Rosine reminded us during the meeting the other night, there used to be that light suspended over the intersection 30 years ago, or however long ago it was, but it was not in the more recent history. My only addition, and I'm fully in support of a blinking light, my only addition would be to move that four-way intersection sign out from behind the maple tree on the nursing home side and move it up the road 30 feet, so there's some warning that there's an intersection on the way. I mean, they need to do that at least.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're gonna have a struggle with them putting a light up, because they called it a capital project, even though it's just
Right,
a
they'd have to
light.
budget for it and plan for it and engineering.
I'm
And
sure that their budget
Yada,
has
yada.
accommodation for lights,
I would hope so.
and I don't think they write their budget so specific as to tell the legislature, we want a light on this road, this road, this road, this road, this road, this road, this
Mhm.
road. They just do lights. I mean, we could research the budget, but I don't think they delineated it like that.
So would you gentlemen be in favor of a motion to send a letter to the state DOT asking them to put up blinking red to Durgan and Ledge Hill and blinking yellow on 171
The
and
impression-
moving the sign back as you request, as you suggest?
Yeah, I'd be in favor of that. I think in the wording of the letter, you need to mention that a light similar to that which is at Bald Peak Colony Club and Sugar Hill Retirement Community,
Mm-hmm.
both of which are on state roads, and both of which have blinking yellow lights and blinking red lights.
So we can remind them the precedent has already been set.
Yeah, because Sugar Hill hasn't been there for
Right,
20 years,
right.
I don't think.
I think the state claimed that they had no appetite for that.
Mm-hmm.
The ask here was for whether or not we wanted a four-way stop. We've established that the townspeople do not feel it is necessary. You can send them a letter if you want. I don't have anything for or against that. I think it's pointless, but have at it if you like. But the fact of the matter is, we do have to, I think it's obviously incumbent on us to say that the four-way stop is a dead issue according to the town. I'm gonna make that clear first,
Mm-hmm.
and then we can deal with the letter. And the signs that you brought up is also a great suggestion.
I'm kind of in agreement with David in that I don't think we're gonna move the ball too much, but on the other end of it, we're creating a record. This
Yeah.
is what we're looking for.
Exactly.
And, maybe one of our state reps, when the next election comes around, we can mention it to them, but they never come to see us other than that, so. I don't think it would matter if somebody died at that intersection, they wouldn't show up.
And regardless of my own feelings on the matter, yes, this was brought to us, However, we brought it to the people and the people have spoken. So while the responsibility can be somewhat on us, it is also, we've done our due diligence in terms of seeking the public's input on the matter, and they have spoken. Ultimately, they're going to be the ones
Driving.
reaping if it becomes an issue.
Okay.
All right. Well, then I would make a motion that we send a letter to the state DOT highlighting all of what we have just discussed. Essentially saying that the town has rejected their four-way stop sign proposal, that the selectmen think that a blinking light, yellow, amber, and red would be a better suited indicator for the town, and moving that sign as you suggest.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you.
What was that mail
Nope.
folder in there?
I'm looking, I just
Yeah.
got that. That is encumbrances.
Yeah, that was another action item.
We have money to encumber from the 2024 budget into 2025. These are items that are in the works. They're not finished yet, but we have agreements to proceed with the projects, and we have 6 items. One of them being a sprinkler system repair at the fire station for $2,455. New equipment at the fire station, $2,470. And that new equipment is,
It looked like a hose and things.
it looks like hoses, nozzles, that type of thing, freight charges. Police station, the police department, a tactical vest, police station service revolver, workstation computers for the town offices, and improving the wireless access points
That's a
in the
new
town
one.
offices.
Where is the access point going? What is it for?
When Tom was in here, there's one here, and then there's one in the selectman's office, and both of them are outdated. So he would, and then next to the tax collector's desk is a type of switch on the floor, it's a little hub, and I was like, what is that? And it looks really old, and so he's like, yeah, these should all be updated, got up to date.
So the police station tactical vest is $1,446.50. Service revolver is $1,097.97. The computers and workstations are $3,680, and the wireless access point are $1,019.95, for a total encumbrance of $12,169.42.
Okay. My only question is, the rental for the backhoe or whatever it's called up there, the transfer station is coming out of what? Audrey?
It's probably gonna come out, the money up until this year is probably gonna come out of the operating budget because you have that room,
So is it gonna,
and I will have that bill in
is he
hand
gonna have
tomorrow.
that done by the end of the year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the backhoe won't be repaired, but
Yeah,
I'll have
I
it,
checked with them today and it says probably best case scenario, a week, maybe 2, but it's going along as planned. So right now, it doesn't look like we're gonna go over that 16,000.
but
That
the,
could change, but I think we had discussed
but the
putting
rent,
aside 30.
Well, there's not enough money left in solid waste, or do we have the bill from Coleman?
I'm gonna check it out tomorrow, spoke to them today.
Okay, so we'll have that.
Yep.
Okay. And the guardrails are coming out of the ARPA money?
Correct.
Is there any of that money left? Yeah,
We just got a sander as well.
right, but I mean, have we used up every single penny?
I don't know. I didn't bring that folder. So, next year's, for the rental, you think might be able to come out of there?
Well, we took the dump truck out of it, I don't know, I couldn't take the rental out of it. I take it out and if they say it's not appropriate, then we have to give it back, but at least we gave it a good college try. I just don't want any money going back to the federal government, so there
know,
must be
I know.
something we
No, we
can.
wanna spend every penny of it, and I don't, I think it's irresponsible to vote on it unless we actually see the numbers in front of us.
Well, what you have for encumbrances does not include anything to do with the backhoe.
Right. And it should
So
be.
I would recommend encumber this and then we'll,
And what, how much is the rental?
So, it's best that I can tell, 4,100 for,
How much was it, 4,100?
4,100, yeah,
for the month.
for the month, yeah.
And that money's coming from where?
Well, Audrey's saying it's coming out of the operating budget, but I'm almost thinking that we might be better off encumbering 16,3. And then if we don't have to use it, then we don't have to worry about it, it just ends up going back into the,
General fund.
well, into the fund balance.
Right.
If we
Can we
We don't
encumber,
wanna get into a position where we run out of money and we've got money left on the table, that's what I'm working on.
can we encumber that without having a contract in front of us?
He's got a contract. What I'm saying is that he's got a rental agreement for a certain dollar figure, let's just include that as an encumbrance.
Okay,
And then if we run short of the ARPA money, we have to use some of the operating budget, then it still works. But if we don't encumber or spend the ARPA money by tomorrow night, we lose it.
so we're putting it in here just in case, in other words?
Yeah, just so that we can spend out that ARPA grant.
And if, yeah,
And then if there's additional money that needs to be paid for the rental, then it's already in here, we're encumbering for the rental.
We have to encumber from the operating budget. We don't have to encumber from the ARPA money. But the ARPA money has to be spent by midnight tomorrow night, so it's,
Can you vote contingent on, 16 plus 4, 19, 20 grand? Can you approve tangibly 20,000 at ARPA money? And
I
then,
don't think there's 20,000 left.
okay, up to 20,000. That way you'll cover.
No, what has to happen is tomorrow, when, I don't know, you guys working tomorrow? Is gotta cut a check to Coleman's
Yeah,
for the rental,
okay,
and that's gotta come out, and then in her bookkeeping or accounting program, she charges ARPA for as much of that rental as she can.
yeah. We got the first thing and bring it back.
and the repairs were coming from where?
The, trust fund, capital reserve fund,
Okay,
So.
but we don't have to encumber that.
no,
It's $4,100.
so it brings us to 16,269.
16,169.
269. 4,100?
Oh, 260.
Yeah, 16,269. With the addition of 4,100 for the backhoe,
So,
excavator rental.
excavator, rental. Yeah, I'll make a motion that we encumber $16,269.42.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye?
Aye. Okay.
So you're gonna want a signature on this today?
Yes. I can quickly go change it.
Do you wanna type and change it?
Mm-hmm.
She's gonna
Oh,
she's gonna update it. Well, by the end we'll be able to sign it.
Okay.
Do we,
All right.
And we're gonna be talking about Chris's budget or what we're doing?
yeah, we can go back to correspondence, right?
Yeah, yeah, we're done with the action items. We can, come on, roll on up.
It's not his budget, it's just like where
Yeah,
it's at.
Update.
We wanted the income update, and that's what this sheet is, that
Right.
100 printed. We still haven't gotten it
Really?
put into the her database, but with all the income that we've received, plus we just received a check from NRA for about 2,600. It brings our total income up to 117,442.
That's what I've got here.
Yeah.
Well,
So
I think-
it's about 21% of our 21.5% of my annual budget going back.
Yeah, except your C&D numbers are wrong. You don't have November and December on there for costs, but your cost through October was $75,806. Your revenue through October was $68,295. So you actually were, at that point in time, at a $7,500 loss. You're showing a $12,000 gain, and I don't see how that happened.
Well, no, 12,000 was what we took in November. 5868 is what we've taken in. Our total income for a CD is 96,521. What you don't see is the cost. And I forgot we could tell us it's in the waste management folder. But these are the final year-end numbers of income.
Is 117,442?
Correct.
Okay.
And this is, I mean, if you look at the 4-year snapshot, the first 2 years we were at, for C&D we were at, 69 and 73. And then we had the kind of structuring of the pricing. And that jumped from 73 to 92 the
Right.
third year. And then this year we've gone up another 4,000. So I think we're not 100% right yet on C&D, but we're quickly closing in on being there. Where we lost this year, and I was disappointed to see because I thought we were right on track, was the brush. We only took in 59, we took in 6,000, and it cost 10 to have everything around. So we're a little bit behind 8 ball on the brush.
And you don't make anything on cardboard?
We do cardboard, that is part of what NRA sends us for revenue.
It's in miscellaneous, is that what you're saying?
Miscellaneous is propane and all that. Where I didn't put a separate line here for cardboard, I just edited it to the bottom line. But cardboard this year we made about 7,000 in cardboard. We made 7,000 in cardboard and just shy of 4,000 on cans. Those are our two big revenue sources.
You
But
don't have aluminum in here either.
no, those just are in the bottom line. We have, I think once we get in the database the other night, straight now, we'll be able to track the actual, month-to-month income of aluminum, cardboard, and
Because what did you think you made with cardboard?
but just shy of 7,000,
And the aluminum
3,000 and some change, 2,000 and some change.
for the aluminum?
The aluminum was just about a little less than 4,000.
That makes sense because I'm off 16 grand, cause I haven't been able to tidy your sheets.
Cause that's
You're showing
pretty-
16,000 more than he's.
Less,
yeah.
less.
And where's the plastic?
We don't,
And glass?
we pay for plastic, we pay for glass, we don't get any revenue for that,
So this sheet here is all revenue?
correct?
So,
Except for the cost of C&D.
worst case scenario, we got $100,000 worth of revenue.
Yeah.
Right.
Alright.
And it sounds like from the three numbers he just listed, the 117 is close.
What do we budget for revenue for 2024? I don't,
I don't remember if I have the revenue sheets.
do you have it in here?
I need my desk.
Should be in the top.
Okay. Miscellaneous recycling fees and permits, we had $95,000. And then miscellaneous, no,
My revenue tab is empty.
I've got it right here, Bob, if you want it. So, from the recycling, the 3401-3 is 95, our estimate was $95,000.
So we're up,
So we beat our,
A little bit, yep,
okay.
yeah.
yeah, so we're about 10, 11,000 more overall in the revenue from last year. Last year was 108, this year
Well,
was.
I think you're gonna have a hard time finding 117,000, but I think 100,000 is a probably a pretty good number. But you guys can audit the figures, you and Audrey.
Yeah.
But we were at 93,000 according to this sheet in 23. What do we estimate in 23? 23 was, actual was 97,435.
What you estimated,
That was your actual. And the actual in 22 was 91,685. I don't have a year on these, but.
so it's, each one is, my numbers is off probably a shipment, because I had 94,530 in 22 and 108 last year. And 90, almost 91 in 21. So
Yeah.
those are these line
So we can
items.
assume pretty conservatively that 20% of the operating budget is funded by revenue.
That's right.
So it worked out. We could probably push it a little harder. He's gonna lose his stickers, but that only amounted to $2,500.
Couple thousand dollars.
Yeah.
But you can make that up in C&D easily.
Yeah.
How are you handling,
And brush, I think we're gonna have to reevaluate brush and get that, I want that to zero out because
Yeah.
we're behind on that.
how are you handling commercial haulers? For both C&D and rubbish? Like Wakefield Disposal, how do you handle them?
What Wakefield is an example, if he comes in with his trash, that's one thing. But if he brings in a chair or he brings in whatever, he pays just like everybody else for his C&D. And as does Richie Piper and Graham and
Mhm.
all those folks. We have one right now that is in arrears, and I'm working on pinning him down to pay us last year's and this year coming up.
Is he one of ours from in town, or is he from out of town?
He's a new business person.
Don't mention any names.
That won't, yeah. He's making a good go of it, but seems to not remember to pay her
Don't let him get
fee.
too far ahead.
No, he's not, but it's just, avoiding us. And it's like, if all the guys up there have been told, January when he shut off, nothing comes in here and do a check.
Okay.
So,
And we don't have signed agreements with our commercial.
we do, yeah.
So is that an enforceable signed agreement? I mean, if they don't pay you, they don't get to bring the trash in?
Yeah, I mean, household trash is, we're mandated to take household trash from residents. Commercial haulers, it's in the statute, that they are regulated by the town. So, yeah, I mean, we could shut them off and say, under, I don't have the statute in front of me, you're shut off until you come up, until you,
Because they're getting paid.
correct. And that was a big argument that I've had, should say discussion, I've had with a couple of our folks at this commercial halls. We just bring in people's trash, and they're all residents, and they all have dumpsters. I agree with that concept. However, you're getting paid $10 a bag to haul this here. Or you're getting paid $25 to bring this fluffy
Yeah,
chair
we're not
here.
charging them a commercial dumping rate.
Right. Yes.
It's the money that they owe is for other things that they bring in, right?
Yeah, well, they pay, and this was started way back when, they pay an annual fee, $375. So if they can come and dump their bulk trash. And, and I would think that probably before me, the person who started that was like, these guys are getting paid quite a bit of money to haul this trash, and we need to offset it somehow. And that was what the annual fee is, but that's it. Then everything else is paid to play, CD, oil, whatever.
Yeah, you don't charge, as long as they're hauling residential trash,
Correct.
you don't charge them.
No.
But anything commercial,
Right,
you do.
yeah. So it's worked out up to this point. At some point, I think this year, now that we're in better shape with some of these other lines, and once we get the actual income lines on Excel, I can put my efforts into maybe a little more commercial guys and figure that out and make sure that that's operating smoothly. It doesn't seem to be in any big little spot.
Well, at the end of the day, we don't want people doing jobs in Ossipee or Moultonborough and bringing their commercial haulage to Tuftonboro.
Correct. And this is why we have contracts. I have a signed contract with each of the commercial haulers that says any trash that we bring into this place is from Tuftonboro. So if down the road,
Especially C&D.
if we could prove that it was coming from them, we could shut them off because it would be breaching contract. CD is another whole story, and I mean, I think that we've gotten our pricing pretty good. I think we could do better. That's a discussion for another day if we had scales. However, it would be more evenly spread across all of the realms. But as far as the commercial guys, the roofers, that come in with their dump trailers, we've established pricing from the surrounding places, and we kind of depend on them a little bit, to be honest. If I say to JMS, how many square do you have, he'll go 19. so we'll charge him for 19 square. He might have 22,
And where did it come from?
right? And, of course, every job's from Tuftonboro, but we don't have any way to prove it's not coming from Tuftonboro. That's why I've been a big proponent of making these people have a copy of
Building
the building permit.
Yeah.
If somebody's getting a roof put on, or somebody's having an addition, you know, Paid Stockman works in town, but if he's doing a job on, County Road, he could come and go, building permit, I'm gonna know. Other than that, we've depended solely on our system, which works out so far so good. The only, and I don't want to be a, drum about scales, but that would be the only way if somebody could brought CD in from Marlboro on a Sunday, go to the scale, you pay the premium, whatever it is, whatever we decide to charge per ton or per pound, that's what you pay. That way we can at least be sure to recoup, the X amount of dollars for that load of CD. Right now, if I get in with, probably back in June, maybe we talked about pricing trailer sizes, and if it's a 5x8 or 7x16, it's a base price. So, with the exception of shingles, I pay per square, $22 a square, which is the going rate. But if they get in with one of those great big dump trailers like I have, it's $300. Could we be getting $390, $450 if it was going over scale? Possibly, but it's going to cost $100. This year we'll go up another $30,000, so it costs $150,000 to put scales in.
Just for kicks and grins, if we have a scale, would we have any appetite for going outside of Tuftonboro?
I wouldn't. I wouldn't.
That's
enough of it's gonna filter through.
right. A lot of it comes around. I have thought on that same track for other things. For instance, tires. We charge $4 a tire for a vehicle tire. My thought process has been, if we laid out the money for a grinder, we could grind tires into a container, and we could pull in tires we could charge Osby $5 a tire. Bring over a truckload of tires, dump truckload of tires, $5 each. We'll grind them, we'll dispose of them. That's more income. I think a lot can be done with CD. We just don't have, currently we just don't have the setup or quite frankly, I don't think I could spare a couple guys to do it, but the CD that comes to that place is like nothing I've seen. Guys will cut a foot off of a 2x6 and the rest of it goes in the crapper. And it's tons and tons of money's worth of lumber and pipe, and it just goes. I think a lot of it can be recycled. We're not a recycling center, per se, we're a transfer station. But it's totally something that, these towns in New Hampshire do composting. And they sell the compost or landscapers. It's just different ways for us to think about making money.
The only way for that to happen is to make a compelling argument. And the only way to make a compelling argument is to do the math.
Right.
Where are we on the scale? Is that,
Well,
Just
we
in general,
throwing
for
stuff out there.
just,
because worst case scenario, he lost $17,000 in CAD this year. You had $170,000 scale, and it's gonna take you a long time to pay for it.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
10 years.
Right. And the only way to pay for it quicker we do what Dave says is pull it in outside.
Or up the rate. I mean, I don't care if the people leave their CND at your, or our transfer station or not, they can take it somewhere else.
Right.
Up the rate, so, you know, it makes sense for the town from our perspective. So if we're charging $450 for a trailer the size of yours, that's the price.
Right,
And
and
I
this is
like
what's
it,
hard,
go somewhere else.
it's what's hard for people to understand. These numbers have to work for us.
Right.
They can get a dumpster, and they tell me time and time again, oh, I'm doing this job down this camp road, I can't fit the dumpster. Well, you put your trailer down there, you can get a smaller dumpster and have it dumped twice as many times. But they don't want to because it's
No,
Because it's cheaper, because it's cheaper to bring it to
It's
us.
a
Exactly.
profit center.
But
Right.
they're,
But I don't
What are
want
they
it to be
charging?
cheaper to bring it to
no,
us.
Right.
exactly.
Right.
We
What are they
did not,
charging their customer to take care of that stuff? It's a profit center, it's like having a body shop, it's just another element of the business where they're making profit.
I don't think we should be catering to the commercial
No,
people doing commercial C&D. That's for our Tufton Borough residents. Somebody's building an addition on their house to by themselves. Come up with a pickup truck full of stuff. That's
Yeah,
what
yeah.
it's for.
I
Well,
go-
We're not-
and, I mean, there's been a couple of building permits that have come through here recently, which is, okay, we just bought a house on the lake and we're tearing it down and build a new one. Well, if you're gonna do a tear down, I say we set up a permit system. You know, cause at that point, it's not a matter of, you know, just an element of the purchase. It's something that really seriously affects us as far as taking care of the.
right, and on that note, I haven't broken it down yet, penny by penny, but every $400 load of CD that comes in here has to be maintained by an operator, wear and tear on the equipment, fuel, so it's, we might charge $400, but that $400 goes like that.
Well,
So-
yeah, we're basing our charges on our cost for getting rid of it.
Right,
But there's the cost of handling it, there's the cost of storing it, there's all of the costs of, you know, cleaning up the site when they dump half of it outside the
yeah,
container.
yeah.
And the taxpayers pay for that privilege to use the transfer station.
Oh, we also pay for the extra cost it takes to get rid of that C and D.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, that we shouldn't be catering to the commercial haulers. I mean, I'm not talking about residential trash, I'm talking about C&D, commercial C&D.
is there any one thing that we could do to help the situation? And it sounds like help holding our construction people to their building permits would be an easy thing to
It would be-
implement.
And charging more.
And perhaps charging more, but at very least, making sure that what we're getting is coming from a Tufton Borough source.
Hmm.
And I was unclear on the whole charging and billing, when I was pushing scales, but now that I have that printout of the state law, and I'm very clear on that saying prices for C&D is easy, because it's not really something that necessarily has to be voted on. It says right in there that it's, they're dumping it basically leisure. They're dumping it at our
Pleasure.
pleasure. So if all of a sudden we decide, oh, that trailer needs to be $500 instead of $400, pretty much a matter of just coming here and saying, I think we'll need to charge $500 instead of $400. Yeah, I don't think it has to be an official vote. I think it just has to be an agreement that you're right, we need to
So
up it.
we have to be in agreement.
Right, right,
That's it.
right. But I don't think it's like, anything more than just making it happen. And it might be time to revisit that,
Well, it's always a work in
Yeah,
progress.
we've been 6 months at the current price.
You really should be looking at it every year. At this time of year, look at your fees.
I mean, we shut it off for a while, that was a
I
good.
raised hell.
But if you get with Audrey and put together a spreadsheet, it will tell you every single receipt you got to this month, let's say. And every charge you made for this month.
Right, yeah.
So now when you ship that stuff out, you know how much weight you have. So let's say your charges are off by 20%. Then you just up your fee by 20%. That's the drive.
Yeah, I won't know weights, but it's a guessing game. I don't know how much container weighs until,
No, you know exactly what it weighs as soon as you get your bill.
right,
Okay, so it just it takes a little bit of organization to keep track of which containers are filled during what month, and then when they ship out, just put a number on the container and say, that's what I'm gonna get charged for, I need to know what my revenue was going into that container.
And you can, I know that you can eyeball a container and you can pretty much, I mean, we signed the checks. I've seen them for $900. I've seen them for $1,200, $1,400 based on the weight.
like,
So you know there's an average there somewhere.
it depends on, of course, what people done, but yeah, I've told the guys, I want these things going out as heavy as we can get them, without being ridiculous, but
Right.
we're not making money by saying, 410 containers, they need to be 6, 7 ton, full, heavy.
Right, but that's only helping you with transportation costs. You're still got a tonnage cost you gotta deal with.
Right.
Tipping fees. Yep.
Yeah,
Anything else?
alright,
I think it's hard if you're the homeowner bringing in insulation compared to roofing shingles. The weight is so different.
Yeah,
Sure.
right,
So having one price.
A pound of bricks is much heavier than a pound of insulation.
Right, so that's where I think the imbalance is to the person paying for a
Yeah.
truckload.
Yeah. That's what they said, nowadays, pound insulation is much lighter than a pound of bricks.
but I bet if you sat there for 6 months and watched it as carefully as you can, you'd realize that probably less than 15% of your outflow are homeowners changing the insulation in a room.
Yeah.
95% is those contractors with the trailers who are building some crazy house on.
Probably, yeah, I mean, percentage wise, less than 50, 45% will say is the homeowner coming in, hey, I have a rug, hey, I have an end table, whatever. The 55% of these guys coming in with,
Yeah,
pick up a load of sheetrock, pick up a dump
but
trailer.
that's just, you're just looking at the number of visitors. The number of visitors probably is 45, 55, but the 45%, the homeowners are bringing in a hell of a lot less
Correct,
than the
yeah.
55%. That's why I'm saying it's probably closer to 90 or 95% for contractor. And how's your metal doing? Are you separating that now, or?
We're trying our best to, turn that back into income. For a while, it was a wash. I was able to ship 3 or 4 loads of it. We made a couple $100 on that. Now I'm dealing with riggers and cameras, and I haven't gotten my invoice yet from them, but I think it's going to be pretty close between trucking charges and all that. It's going to be pretty close to a wash.
I thought Rickers was closing down.
North Country Recycling closed down.
Oh,
That's where we were sending it.
okay.
And we were, getting $100 for a container. But depending on fuel prices and whatnot, it could fluctuate greatly. Even Berwick, we send over, 14 tons of scrap iron, and we're getting $300. Used to be $1,500, but it's just metals. It's not a seller's market right now for scrap metal. If we had the wherewithal to separate every piece of metal, white iron, copper, this, that, we might be able to up it because we'd be getting,
Yeah, but you'd have a person down there, you'd have to dedicate a person every day.
we have that recycling guy.
Yeah,
But all we're doing at this point, scrapping the big stuff, wheel, cylinders and, any big hunks of aluminum. But the small stuff, it's hard to
yeah,
catch it all.
all right. We're getting there.
So
So what do we need
it's only
for,
taken 4 years.
what do we need for tomorrow? Sounds like we need an invoice?
Yeah, he's gonna bring me an invoice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and,
For the excavator
That
rental.
rental invoice, yeah.
the 7th is budget committee next Tuesday, 6:30.
Okay, here's my question. Why do I need to go to the budget committee if these guys have already approved my budget?
Because the budget chairman requested your presence.
I'll defend it as best I can, but you may be a better spokesperson for some of it.
That's fine. January 7th.
Yeah,
Or January 7th, yeah.
Tuesday.
6:30.
Basically.
Because
we
it's,
speak
because
for
the
tomorrow.
budget's presented to the taxpayer with a recommendation from the selectmen and a recommendation from the budget committee. Two separate recommendations,
So
and you gotta sell us both.
you're on, you're on the 9th segment of this,
He'll take him when he's here though, he'll take him
yeah,
if he's present.
come early. Get out of the way.
All right.
Trying to, keep that our budget.
Yeah,
Other than, but if we need a special.
Right now, I don't know where you're gonna end up, but,
We're gonna go into non-public.
$12,000 left in your budget.
Unless you wanna do the other things before.
I think we
non-public.
can, I think we can breeze through these.
You have to start doing dishes.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks.
see you tomorrow.
Town administrator and selectmen's updates?
So I'm doing all the year-end stuff. Right now, my priority is, a couple spreadsheets for the budget committee and then getting any grant paperwork in. I do have an update from Conservation Commission. And so the Mirror Lake, we have most of the paperwork in. There are 3 items outstanding: the audit, the minutes for the warrant article, and then who you're willing to have authorize the loan paperwork when it comes in. So, for example, it would be Steve Scapicchio, as chairman of the Conservation Commission. You could authorize him to sign it, or we could have, when the loan comes through, have Bob sign it, Chip sign it.
Well, it
So,
has to get recommended by Scapicchio's on the thing,
yeah,
so.
Well, if we're signing loan, agreement, I think the selectmen should sign it.
okay. Alright, so I'll fill out that form and
With
you to sign.
with Steve's recommendation,
Yeah.
of course.
And then with the 19-mile brook study, it'll wrap up probably 3 or 4 months. They finish getting the results from UNH, and then the study will get completed. And next year, I think we talked about this for the warrant articles, that he's good with using that old expendable trust fund. So we'll have to request less money next year. They are looking at a property for purchase, and it would be 100% funded by grants. So he's nothing coming to you.
So we just have to accept the grant.
Right. And then I'll be looking at the land use change tax, and they'll get their 10,000
So when do we meet next?
2 weeks.
Yeah,
So not until the 14th?
24.
yeah, that's the wrong year, so,
It would be 15th or 13th. We meet again 13th.
13th?
Monday the 13th. We have 2 meetings in January.
so you finalize warrant
We're
articles.
gonna have to, yeah, because we're running out of time.
Yep. Well, we got it pretty much nailed down, don't we?
I think so.
We just
yeah.
have to formalize it.
There's a couple of ones, yeah, we need to, yeah,
Like,
the 13th will go together. Because we need to know what our revenue's gonna be next year, we need to know where our fund balance sits, we need to just plug the final numbers in.
Yeah. That'll be the focus of our meeting on the 13th, is wrapping those things up.
Yeah, plus having the budget done, I don't know when when's the budget committee gonna actually meet again after this one.
They're meeting next Monday, Tuesday,
Right,
right?
but they got 2 budgets that they haven't seen yet or haven't decided on yet.
We're all set. We've done all of our budgets, right?
Yeah,
Right,
Okay.
so they would, I think they're meeting multiple times in a row, they're meeting the 7th and then maybe the 14th,
Okay.
2 weeks in a row.
I think so.
You good,
Um,
Audrey?
I'm good, yeah.
Okay. Chip?
yeah, I'm good too, I'm gonna keep working on the warrant and keep filling you guys in on that. Are we revisiting personnel administration tonight?
Oh, I did wanna do that.
Are we doing that, do we have to do that in public, or is that a non-public thing?
It can be either, I mean, once you go into non-public, I mean, you can go over this budget, I can just tell you quickly what it is.
I mean, I think that's public information, so I don't think we should be doing that in non-public.
Right, so
It's
it's
just a
going,
matter of starting and stopping the video.
Right.
it's going down by $10,000.
That's my recommendation, that you can take it down to 819, because I did that.
Let's finish up the updates, then we'll move into other
Okay.
business.
Alright,
Okay, I guess my position on updating this is to just leave it alone. The budget committee's gonna do whatever nasty business they're gonna do. And then if we cut it by $20,000, it just, they're gonna continue to cut. So my personal opinion is we voted and approved $832,000, that's where it needs to be. And if, they wanna move the ball, they can move the ball, but we're already sitting in a situation that's in the 2040 year from the last budget that they created. We'll be lucky to have 80 grand left at the end of the day. We've got, I don't know, 4 departments that are upside down. So they're squeezing it to the point where there's zero room, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And this year's no different, it's another big squeeze, cause they wanna get it right down to zero budgeting, which doesn't fucking work. Because you have no way of knowing what's gonna happen this year. You have no way to project your expenses completely. The only way you can effectively look at the budget is look at the growth year to year, the taxation year to year. That's the only effective way to do it. And we don't have the ability to get more money. I mean, I did it once at the county, it will never work here, cause you gotta have 2/3 as many voters as you had at the original town meeting.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way a special town meeting works.
Yeah, you're talking about when we did the supplemental budget?
Yeah,
Yeah, that was a trip.
but I was only dealing with 17 people at that
Mhm.
point in time, and they all knew the New York bankers were gonna come and get them.
Yeah.
Here, you're dealing with the general population. And I just don't, when you're averaging over a 10-year stretch, 3% a year in annual growth, I don't see there's a real need to push the budget quite as hard as that.
No, I agree with your position. The only thing I'm struggling with is, we did not revisit the fire, department.
Mhm.
You know, we did for salaries, but not for the second round. We refused to revisit it.
Right,
We did revisit the library,
right,
and we changed those numbers.
right.
And now you're suggesting that we don't revisit this. So what are we gonna do? Are we gonna revisit, or are we not gonna revisit? I
No,
think
we have to do it on an individual basis. We revisited the library because their revenue figures changed.
Mm-hmm.
And their accounting system changed, so it's a little different. This is Audrey's estimations of what might happen next year. I think she's a little generous in her health insurance, because I don't think she has any idea what's gonna happen with our new employees. But that being said, I'm gonna come back to my original point, which is, we don't need to revisit this budget, it's already gonna get banged on the head. I mean, what would be the reason for us to bang it on the head? It would, if we had control of the budget, the three of us, then I'd say, yeah, let's revisit this thing and dial it in. We don't currently have control of the budget. The budget committee has control. They're not allowing for our recommendations to hold. They're not allowing for us to present numbers that we feel are reasonable without hammering them. So fuck it, I mean, I'm all done with dealing with them when it comes to, you know, their notion of how you can operate a town. It just, it becomes very frustrating. You wait until we get to the warrant. And the warrant, and I just to walk you through it a little bit, the warrant is 20% of the overall budget of the town. So 80% is the operating budget, 20% is the warrant. So if your warrant grows by 0%, then your overall budget growth is less than the 5% that we're staring at currently. You know, it's closer to 4, maybe even down to 3.5. But going through that calculation is beyond the scope of our budget committee.
Okay. Well, I personally am not gonna make a motion to revisit this, but I would entertain a motion to revisit.
What do you think, Dave?
I'll simply say this. Right now, with our 25, our current approved, we're only up 2.4% on personnel administration. I think fundamentally, I feel like we should revisit this, but I fully acknowledge that what you're saying is true and that we're going to find ourselves a little tight if we, if we
I mean,
don't,
I'd
and
rather
so-
give it back to the town in October than I would. take it out.
Well, let's forget the library. What's the difference between revisiting this and the fact that we didn't revisit the fire department, the fire station? Where's the fundamental difference?
The difference I see is that the budget committee requested the fire department to go back and make a change.
Yeah.
You did not.
They directed us to revisit that budget. I think that was the difference there. I mean, from my perspective, I'm kind of a curmudgeon, but
Mhm.
I'm not about to let some, minor elected official direct the executive what to do.
So this is so this right here, the personnel administration budget. This is a budget that we've already approved, and we changed the numbers. Why?
Audrey reviewed them, so it's Audrey asking us to look at this maybe again. Am I right?
So-
I don't
Right,
speak for-
because, budget committee requested that I update the personnel spreadsheet from previous years.
Mhm.
And when I did that, I saw where my previous assumptions may have
So
been flawed.
this change would be based on new data
Right,
versus beating down the budget.
right.
So there's a fundamental difference between the fire department and this.
Yeah.
I agree with I agreed with you 100% on the fire department.
Mhm.
This here, however, I think because there's new information being presented, that perhaps we should revisit this one because it's a different set of circumstances. This is not a battle between the budget committee and the selectmen here.
If I was confident that they would leave this $219,000 or $819,000 figure alone,
Mm-hmm.
I'd agree with you. You know, Audrey did her job. She revisited it, did an audit of it. This is the real number.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, if it's a 2-to-1 vote, I'm fine with that too. I will defend it as hard as I can. I don't think they'll be satisfied at 819. That's just my read.
819 is not that far off of 811 or 812 from 2024.
I don't think they'll be
That's not-
satisfied.
No.
But that,
Well-
and honestly, if you wanna go in with it, I'm fine with that, Bob. I said my piece. I just know how much of an argument it's been with them
Yeah.
this time through. And any space, the $20,000, I mean, we're looking for money tonight for, you know, whatever might happen.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna change what I said 10 minutes ago. I will make a motion to revisit the personnel administration budget. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All right. Any further discussion? All those in favor of revisiting the personnel administration budget? Aye.
Aye.
Nay.
Okay. We're revisiting it. I would make a motion to revise the personnel administration budget from the previous number of $832,040 to $819,838, based on the new information provided.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed?
Nay.
Okay.
And if I'm wrong, honestly, I will in fact bring a crow in and eat it. Just so-
I don't,
I just worry.
no, I totally get it.
So-
But the circumstances are different, that's why I changed my mind.
I wanna let you know also, I gave you the CIP report,
Yes,
so you can be prepared for next week.
Yep, got that.
Well,
And
we're pretty close on,
yeah, the
on-
executive summary is gonna be in the Touch and Go Times.
we're pretty close on the numbers with what they were looking for. It's just broken up a little differently,
Mm-hmm.
especially in the fire department. But I mean, the total is a total, and I think we're within $100,000 of that.
The
Okay.
highway still bugs me.
The what?
The highway.
The highway budget?
But,
We've sent it already.
huh?
We've sent it.
No, I know. No, I'm with regard to the whole building
Oh, that.
issue.
Yeah, and the description, and he sent a pretty extensive description of what he was looking to do, or needs to do, but he still includes radiant heat, which he said he didn't. So I'm looking at that 200,000+ estimate.
I don't think he's done enough homework
No,
to give us a proper presentation. I think this is what he's submitting so far. Yes, he's got some quotes from contractors, but it's not a formal proposal
So what do you?
that has enough meat in it.
So what would meet that criteria for you?
I'd want to see a design. I'd want to see it drawn out, and I'd want to see all of the subcontractors covered, every single one.
Okay.
he had the ability with the money that he's got in his account
Mm-hmm.
to do that, this in '24. Put a design together, get his proposals out in the newspaper, do that whole process. And
And
then bring a real honest to God figure to us.
I do understand and respect that the process that we would be making him go through is cumbersome. And a lot of the subcontractors feel like they're getting their tires kicked, and they don't like to get tires kicked. this is how government works.
Yeah,
We have to put it out to bid, and we have to have a proposal that we can defend. Simple as that. And the only way to defend a proposal is to have a proper proposal.
So as of right now, if we stay with all things being, throwing that aside for a minute, they're still gonna or I should say, yeah, the highway extension reserve fund will still get $50,000 this year.
I thought we were at 75.
The selectmen were.
Okay.
And
That's not what this says, but
Yeah, that's a CIP recommendation.
yeah, don't look at the CIP.
Okay.
Just
and
try
if
to-
he wants to, start by doing some excavation, putting in a foundation, maybe getting a frame up.
If we had to
Uh,
go-
that I disagree with you, because either we're going to start the project on what he has,
Yeah,
or
or
we're gonna put it off another year and get the real deal.
right.
We're not doing it half. That sounds
Piecemeal?
half.
Yeah.
You know what?
I think the septic
But it's-
maybe could be done.
It's like the septic system. He's got enough money to do a septic system.
Mm-hmm.
So that should, if we put another 75 grand into that pot that he's got, his planning, his design, his septic system, all the ancillary, the 2 doors in the front that need to be replaced, could all get handled
Mm-hmm.
this year, 25. And then actually get a bid process going and actually get a real number on putting that thing together. Because electrical is like throwing money in the air. He doesn't have any idea what that's gonna cost.
Right. Right.
Okay. Well, anyway,
And I
Okay.
don't know that.
we don't need to have that conversation tonight.
No.
Yeah, and we haven't had the conversation about exactly what the warrant's gonna read either. So that would be a nice reason for him to come up with some better numbers. Cause maybe we wanna put $100,000 into that this year. Maybe we don't wanna put any money into it. Maybe we wanna.
No, we've got to put away something.
Put more money in because his numbers work this way. And we can continue the discussion about starting. But it works that his septic can get done, his electric can get upgraded, his doors can get done, and he still has money enough to get a design together. But I think he's designing on the back of the napkin, so.
Yeah, and I'm uncomfortable voting on something like, spend a couple $100,000 on something that comes off of a napkin.
Yeah.
No.
Well, it's cost plus. That's that whole operation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll do that. Looks like it's a couple $100,000. Except you just change this, or except you
Yeah.
really should make it like this.
You got to
except-
tighten up those variables.
Yeah, you know what the truck measures.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right.
All right, I'm sorry.
All right. Let's get correspondence out of the way. We have a letter from the New Hampshire Electric Cooperative informing us of tree clearing. They're scheduled for 2025, and the New Hampshire Recycling NRRA.
Activity report.
New Hampshire Recycling. I don't know what NRRA. The full.
Northeast.
Resource Recovery Act.
Thank you.
I think that's what it was.
Thank you. And the appointments, I think we're good. Other business, we handled that already.
Non-public.
Yeah.
Go into non-public. I would make a motion to go into non-public.
I'll second.
Hold on.
Read it out.
D.
91A:3(2)B, the hiring of any person as a public employee.
Now I can second it. I'll second that motion.
All right. Murray, aye?
Daphne, aye.
I'll be aye.
Okay.
For us to adjourn.
You good?
Okay, I make a motion to come out of non-public.
I'll second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And we have no further business tonight, so I make a motion to
Sorry.
adjourn the meeting.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.